I was recently reminded of the first song I ever wrote for my ukulele to play on ukulele. I wrote it on July 20th, 2025. Um, I was like 2 months into playing ukulele outside of my ukulele class just because I liked playing ukulele for the love of it. Um, but by that time, I was only just playing songs that I liked or that my friends liked, and I wanted to play it for them. But I never really wrote songs to play on ukulele. I don't know why. Maybe because, I still didn't know all the chords or I wasn't confident in playing. But also, I think writing music itself is kind of sometimes like a chore for me. Cause I've written music before. I've written music for like maybe 6 years now. Um, and I find that sometimes writing music is a chore, but sometimes it's so easy. And usually, the times that it's easy, it's because the lyrics and the song come straight from my heart. And it's like real things I'm experiencing and real emotions. So, because it's coming straight from me, there's nothing like I have to, for lack of better words, like fake or make up because it's all real. And that's what happened with this song. Like I said, I wrote it on July 20th, 2025, which is also the same date of my first ever journal entry. And during that summer, before this date, I was trying to get into journaling, but for some reason, I just felt like a weird feeling about it. Like I didn't want to do it. I don't know. I don't think I liked the idea of writing down my emotions. I thought there was no need for it. But it kind of got to a point in the summer that I needed to write down my emotions because I just had some emotions that I couldn't tell anybody or I wasn't confident to tell anybody. But I couldn't also keep it pent up inside of me because I needed to get it out of me or else I wouldn't be able to sleep. And I like to sleep. Um, so I decided to journal. And during journaling, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much emotions. This could make for an amazing song. So I flipped to the back of my journal book and started writing the lyrics. And literally, it came out so flawlessly that there's barely any erase marks. And if there's no erase marks, that means, I basically wrote it in one go. And I think I did write it in one go. I don't remember specifically. Um, Here's the original entry of my song. So you can see, I kind of wrote it really quick. And the page is actually like falling out, so I had to tape it back in. And it's also written in pencil because initially I started writing my journal entries in pencil instead of pen. Because I didn't think I would keep journaling, but I eventually did keep journaling. And I decided to write it in pen so it'll last longer. But this song means so much to me. So much. It's probably one of my favorite songs ever. Mostly because not only did I write down what I was feeling, but I wrote it in a way that I really understand. And I really appreciate that that I did that because usually I try to conform my feelings or the things I say to adhere to society standards or my friends' standards or other standards. And that's not necessarily like a bad thing, you know, but that's not 100% me. But this song feels like 100% me. Um, like I didn't do this for anyone else but myself because I needed it in the moment. Um, but now that I reflect on it, this song still means a lot to me. That's kind of crazy because most of the songs that I write over time, the meaning of them kind of fades for me, or they're not as important to me as they were when I once wrote it. But this one really stood the trial of time, mostly because these are still unresolved emotions of mine. But I think that tells a nice story because I think us as humans generally like peace. At least me personally, I like peace. I like being happy. I like seeing others happy. But sometimes I like seeing others happy more than I like seeing myself happy. And more recently in my life, that's been something that I've been thinking hard about because sometimes I sacrifice myself for the joy or the peace of others. Is that inherently a bad thing? I don't know. That's something I'm trying to discover right now. But this song really delves into that. This song is a display of me willing to lie to myself and lie to others to mask how I truly feel. I don't think the opposite of that is something that's good, but I don't think that thought itself is good either. I think there's a good balance in between sacrificing yourself to please others and standing up for what you feel. I think there's a balance between that. Um, and I think this song is me trying to express that feeling of like sacrificing my peace for the peace of others. However, this doesn't make it any easier, living in this limbo. But some things, you know, just can't happen. Life is not fair. That's like the that's like the meaning of life. Life is not supposed to be fair. You the law of conservation of energy or something. I think that's what it's called. You know, energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. So, in order for someone to win, someone has to lose. That can mean a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, not everyone's ideals can be fulfilled. But that's almost harder to come to terms with everyone losing. Like the fact that in order to win, someone has to lose. I feel like that's harder to like wrap my head around rather than trying to understand that everyone loses. Like I think everyone losing would make more sense to me than someone winning in order for someone to lose. And this song is me willing to lose in order to see someone else win. But honestly, it's not like a total loss for me. Um, because I find peace in seeing other people happy. So I'm able to be, I guess, delusionally happy by seeing others happy. But I'm like 99% sure if I was to try to chase my ideal, then everyone in the situation would not be happy. So I guess this is the more net positive outcome. But it doesn't make it any easier. It still hurts and I'm sad. But thus is life. Um, but yeah. I guess to sum it up, this song for me is a story that embodies the feeling of the feeling that you get that the feeling that you get when you avoid pursuing a relationship because you know for almost certain you're going to get your heart broken anyways, and how that feeling is almost worse than the heartbreak itself. I think that's a good summary. Like I said, initially I made this song for my ukulele, but since I'm trying to learn guitar now, I tried to translate it over to guitar. So now I'm gonna try to play it on guitar. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. You are so beautiful. You made me cry when you told me you didn't know why. Your heartbeat drives me wild, like the stars in the late night sky. Oh, I wish I could have told you what you mean to me, but your silence never tells me how you really feel. Why do you always give me everything? What does that even really mean? You're such a perfect little butterfly, never ever spreads their wings. But you are so beautiful. You make me cry when you told me you didn't know why. Your lipstick, it drives me wild, like the stars in the late night sky. Oh, I wish you could just tell me how you really feel, but you never really give me anything to read. Am I really going crazy? Am I really such a fool? How could I even fall for someone who doesn't even know my school? But you will always be so beautiful. You will always make me cry. I guess I never know the answer. This story ends with goodbye. Yo, that's That's my first ever ukulele song played on guitar. Yeah. That's one of the only songs that I wrote that can actually make me tear up. Because it means so much. It means so much to me. I hate that the world can't be fair. Big thumbs down. But sometimes that's what's beautiful about life, is that it's not fair. Because it kind of makes it more interesting. You know, if everything could be fair, if everything can go how everyone wanted to go, there'd be no point in living and pursuing dreams and trying to make the world a better place. But it does hurt. It does suck. But I think I will continue sacrificing myself to see the people that I care about win.